Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily as we're calling our readings through the Johnson edition's poems of Emily Dickinson. We turn now to a little poem 186, What Shall I Do? It Whimpers So. This is a very intriguing little poem. Carlo was the name of Emily's dog, a gift given to Emily from her father, named after a character, St. John Rivers, in Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. And he had a dog named Carlo, and so that's what they named her dog. Now, this is another Sam Boyle's poem, and so we're going to have to talk. Some have seen this as one of the most obvious references to Emily's passion or love for Sam Boyle's, where the word dizzy will be the central word of this poem. Now, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, again, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already studied through our set of introductory comments, and I'm really hopeful that you've already read the previous 185 poems we just finished with Faith is a Fine Invention. And if you have done that, then you'll have a better sense of how to place a poem like this inside of a larger context. Emily is always playing games. We've commented on this. She's always having fun. And I think there's a play here that's going on. And I think Emily is playing around with a famous scene from Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, the famous speech between Helena and Demetrius, and we'll finish here in a bit with that. Now, we've got a little hound here. Of course, Carlos is referenced within the heart, a hound within the heart, which many have seen as Emily's love for Sam Boyle's. Let's enjoy the question of what shall I do? What shall I do? It whimpers so, this little hound within the heart, all day and night with bark and start, and yet it will not go. Would you untie it, were you me? Would it stop whining if to thee I sent it even now? It should not tease you by your chair or on the mat, or if it dare to climb your dizzy knee, or sometimes at your side to run when you were willing. Shall it come? Tell Carlo. He'll tell me. Now, there is, it seems to me, a certain type of intimacy in a poem like this that we've not seen very often in any of those earlier poems we've studied. By the way, when we get to poem 956, it will be What Shall I Do When the Summer Troubles. Now, this What Shall I Do is going to take us to Shall It Come? And it's almost, these are rhetorical questions of a kind. And if you read this poem as a love poem to Sam Boyle's, then the hound of the little hound within the heart is, of course, her desire to be with Sam. And she pictures it as a puppy dog who is, of course, bouncing around all over the place, but at the same time whimpering and whining. Notice, what shall I do if it whimpers so, this little hound within the heart, all day and night with bark and start. And of course, there's great rhythm here. There's great kind of meter and rhyme here. And yet, notice, it will not go. This, maybe she's arguing this desire, this passion, will not go. Would you untie it? Notice italicized untie. Were you me? Would it stop whining if to thee I sent it even now? In other words, it's not clear. She's asking these as questions. If I told you what my true interests in you were, would you treat those well? Notice, though, this is all hidden in many ways behind the language about Carlo, her puppy dog, right? Notice, it should not tease you. And again, from tease to dizzy, the words are brilliantly constructed here. By your chair, on the mat, or if it dare, and I think that's another key word here, dare, to climb your dizzy knee. Now, when we get to poem 499 and 500, interestingly, those two poems back to back in the Johnson edition, by the way, 500 is dizzy music. The only other time she uses this word dizzy. Now, is this an erotic word? Well, or do we just mean, well, I mean, it seems like we don't mean that the puppy would get dizzy because it's sitting up on the knee. It's clearly something else is going on here. Or, notice, sometimes at your side to run when you were willing. In other words, I'm willing to have any relationship with you, Sam, that you're willing to allow to me, but do I dare? And then, again, finally, shall it come? And then tell Carlo. and again, the joy of Carlo here is that this is the name of her puppy dog, he'll tell me. Now, I think there is, for Emily, always a game being played, and it's always a curiosity game of a kind, as we've commented so many times before. But I think at 2A, the message here is that it is hard to love someone and not have that returned, or to dare to let them know. At 2B, I love the extended metaphor of the hound within the heart. At 3A, well, I can't read a poem like this and not think of Dante's passion for Beatrice, although never articulated as such in the Divine Commedia. We've given full lectures at learnstrong.net. But I mentioned this at the top of our comments, and now let's finish with it. In Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, you'll remember that Helena will speak to Demetrius, and she says, I am your spaniel, and Demetrius, the more you beat me, I will fawn on you. Use me as your spaniel, spurn me, strike me, neglect me, lose me, only give me leave. End quote. It is possible that Emily knew that Sam Boyles would recognize the kind of tongue-in-cheek language that's being played here. Of course, Shakespeare playing around in Midsummer Night's Dream. We've given full lectures, by the way, on that text as well at learnstrong.net if you're interested. Finally, at 3B, to own a little poem like this, and this is I love reading all these poems because it shows the range of Emily's observations. If in the previous 185, she was talking about faith as a fine invention in a letter to Sam Boyles that could be read as, would you please find a way to see my poetry more seriously and to help publish my poetry. Here, she's speaking to Sam Boyles at a completely different, it seems to me, kind of tone variance. That is to say, I wish I could dare to let you know how I really kind of feel about you. At 3B, what was a time in your life? Who is somebody in your life that you cared for, but you weren't quite sure whether you could dare to let them know or not? I hope these poems are entertaining you. Thank you.